Hey, what's up? I'm Mark Morton, and this is Loud TV. The music you hear on Without the Pain on this new record it's just more a reflection of where my personal listening tastes are, you know. It's not, I understand that it's probably, to some listeners, surprising that I might make a record like this, but to me it makes a lot of sense because it's the kind of music that I listen to, you know, and has been really forever. You know, if you grew up where I grew up, when I grew up, you know, this kind of music was
your roots, right?
everywhere. Yeah, so it's like, you know, some of the first bands that I, you know, was listening to and paying attention to was Leonard Skinner and the Allman Brothers and Molly Hatchet and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of coming home for me, you know. You know, I live in the woods and we got goats and chickens and dogs and front porches, and you know, that's how we live, you know. Someone asked me earlier in an interview, how would I define a Southern culture? And my answer was that it's more about, than anything, it's about the pace. It's about the pace and the rhythm of your life. And I think when you can slow that down and move a little slower and breathe a little easier, that's, you know, that's what it feels like to me. Yeah, Tim LaFave plays bass. So he played with Derek Trucks band, Tedeschi Trucks band for a long time, and he played on David Bowie's Black Star record. So he was in Bowie's band on the last record. Great guy, amazing player. Gary Novak plays drums. He played with Alanis Morissette for a long time, and he played with Alan Holdsworth, and does a lot of studio session work as well. Adam McDougall played keyboards. He was in the Black Crowes, played with Macy Gray. This record, in terms of the core band that you hear, it's consistent from beginning to end. It's the same guys, yeah. In some cases, for sure, yeah. I called friends, and then there were a few instances where Cody, for example, Cody Jinks, I didn't know him personally before we started on this, but we had a mutual friend who suggested we get in touch, and I talked to Cody, and we had a lot of, you know, similar points of reference, and we had a really smooth conversation over the phone, and then we met in Nashville and started writing together. He's in Texas and I'm in Virginia, so we met in Nashville and started writing some stuff together with Travis, and just instantly, you know, became really free and easy in terms of our friendship and our writing process. So yeah, Troy's fantastic. Been friends for decades, and yeah, that was an easy call. Troy's a good friend, and I knew he was going to pick up the phone. And Charlie was in Atlanta when he did his vocal, but he understood
the philosophy.
He understood the assignment, yeah, and he helped write the song, so he knew what he wanted to do, and it was great. And the great thing about that is, even if someone's doing it remotely like that, we have all this technology, right? So I was in Nashville and he was in Atlanta, and he sent me a rough, and then we talked about it. We made a couple changes, and he made the changes and sent it back, and then we agreed that was it. And so, you know, technology makes a lot of things possible. But for the most part, most of the vocals you hear on the album were recorded in a studio where I was in the room with our producer Josh and the vocalists. Yeah. I don't know that it's a revival because I don't think it ever went away, you know. I think for there to be a revival, it would have to go away, and I don't feel like it ever has, you know. I do think that there's a younger generation of players. Tyler Bryant, who's on this record, would be a great example. Marcus King, phenomenal player. Sierra Farrell, who's just kind of taking over the world right now as a singer-songwriter. So there's a lot of country, blues, Americana, Southern rock kind of artists that there's a great new generation of it, but I don't feel like it ever went away. I think you're just seeing a younger generation really come into their own. There's a song on the record called Without the Pain, and that's where the album title comes from. And that song, it sort of in a kind of banter. I wrote that song with Jaron Johnston, and it's kind of a banter, kind of a almost scatty kind of way, but it talks about basically the way one used to live versus the way one lives now, and sort of changing one's perspective and changing one's lifestyle, and sort of reflecting back on the person we used to be, and sort of being grateful that we don't have to live that way anymore. Most of those lyrics I brought in, and then Jaron and I kind of finesse them into place to fit the song. And that was sort of, I guess what you're asking is across the album. For the most part, that's how I worked, is I brought in lyrics and lyric ideas and then kind of massaged them into place with whoever I was writing with. No, it wasn't. I think it was easier for me compared to Anesthetic you're talking about. Yeah, I think it was easier because I think Anesthetic, it was a little tricky because it was closer to metal, right? So it was maybe a little less clear to define, what should be in the Lamb of God lane and what shouldn't be there, and they were a little closer. So I think the differentiation wasn't as dramatic. It wasn't as clear, right? So for this record, there's really nothing on here that would be a Lamb of God song, and it was very. I was very excited to write this material because this music is really, again, it reflects what I listen to personally in my personal taste, and so to be able to get the opportunity to write songs that reflect the music that I'm genuinely every day a fan of was very exciting. Yeah, it's a different kind of thing. So Lamb of God is there's not a huge melodic component to Lamb of God, just the nature of the music, particularly vocally, and what's expected from Lamb of God is much more note dense. There's a lot more notes and a lot more guitar acrobatics. So it's a really drastically different approach. Yeah.
Did you write on acoustic guitars?
In some cases, not in all cases. I mean, it's a pretty electric record. I think we wrote Brother on an acoustic, and we wrote Kite String on an acoustic, and that's maybe it. But I think I actually wrote Come December on an acoustic as well in the music.
Did you write the songs in studio or in your room or in the forest? I don't know.
Yeah, all of it really. So a lot of times it'll start with me and an acoustic guitar and an idea, and I'll just record it real quick on my phone.
But where?
I mean, you can hear it on the beginning of Home. It's me on the front porch trying to get some chords down, and my daughter's crawling all over me, and it just knocks me over, knocks the phone over.
You mean on the last song, right?
Yeah.
It's your daughter?
That's my youngest daughter, yeah. So, yeah, so me, sitting in the kitchen, drinking coffee in the morning with an idea, or on the porch or whatever. Sometimes it starts like that. I have a studio at home too. Sometimes I go upstairs and work and have an idea and I start laying it down more officially. And a lot of these songs were, some version of that, and then I'll take it to whoever I'm writing with. I'll take it to Jaron, I'll take it to Travis, I'll take it to Cody, and we'll kind of take those ideas and start to develop them. And sometimes that's usually more in like, just like I have a little small workstation studio at home, most of these guys have stuff like that. So we'll work in those spaces until we get a demo developed, and then we go into the real studio. I certainly hope so. I don't have anything on the books right now. A lot of calendars have to go to lock in and get in place, so the calendars are moving around, but we'll see. Yeah, Matt James, we've already played some shows, and Matt James sings everything. He's the singer you hear on the title track, and he sings everything, and he's fantastic. So we've played some shows. I've got a great live band put together. So yeah, we're ready to go. We just need to find the window of time that works.
Yeah. And what about Lamb of God? Anything this year?
We've got some shows later in the year that we announced, and I'll see those guys next week, actually. When I get home, we're going to all get together and got some ideas to talk about.